Hey everybody, my name is Young Falcon, and today we're going to talk about something a little different on the channel. Usually I just cover games, but I'm covering a film that really think is going to do a lot for the culture, and I really enjoyed watching it. I've already seen it twice, and it's none other than Matt Reeves' The Batman, starring Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz, Jeffrey Wright. Huge shoutouts to that actor, man. He knocked it out the park with Commissioner Gordon, and a slew of other people like Paul Dano, who of course played the Riddler. So without further ado, let's get into the story synopsis, and this will be spoiler free. Due to COVID, I understand that people cannot reach the theaters, so I will be waiting for a spoiler review until HBO Max releases the film, right? I think that's completely fair. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So the way the film opens up is you're in your second year of following Batman. He's already been a vigilante doing his thing, and you get to kind of explore the grassroots of the character, right? He's still a little fresh to it. He's still figuring some things out. He's definitely on full vengeance mode, obviously, and he's working with Commissioner Gordon, of course. Now, the GCPD and Commissioner Gordon have just learned that a big influential figure in Gotham has died in a string of serial killer murders that the Riddler is committing. He's leaving little riddles and clues for specifically mainly for the Batman to find out, and it's up to the GCPD to put a stop to this before it gets out of hand, along with Batman's help. And that is basically the setup for the movie without giving too much stuff away. And I gotta say, what an invigorating setup. It definitely feels like I was reading a graphic novel throughout the whole runtime of the film. Everything felt tightly paced. I never thought there was 3 hours in it. It just was so well contained and so well timed that I couldn't help but fall in love with it. I really loved how effortlessly scenes flow into each other and just how nice it ran, and I couldn't get enough of it, really. It was great. In terms of the core storytelling and characters, they all knocked it out the park. Everyone gets a very fulfilling arc. You know, there's not a single character here that I didn't feel like got enough screen time or shined. Even the most minute side characters left a big impression on me, and that's very core to what Batman's about, considering one of the big characters that people forget about Batman is Gotham. Like, the city in and of itself is a huge character, and they really sell it, whether it's through the incredible cinematography on display with each shot really seeping and soaking up that noir feel, or they're going really hard with the NPCs, if you will, the background characters that just make a Gotham feel more lived in than it should be, you know, for a film of this stature. That's what really pulled me in and got me just utterly hooked. As for the villains and the core protagonists we dealt with, all perfect, right? They all have their conflicts, their reasons they do things, and it just worked for me. Everyone's acting was out of this world, and the way everyone was telling their lines and stuff, I like the fact that it was still campy, right? They definitely still had a lot of fun with some of the humor in the movie, and it never once felt too dark and depressing or too camp. It was just the perfect blend of the two, and they knocked it out the park and made it work, which is a hard thing to pull off, and it still feels 100% like a comic book movie, and that's really awesome, honestly. A different take, you know, don't expect MCU, right? But in its own way, that's a great thing. It's definitely a Batman film, and that's what's awesome about it. Moving on from those aspects, like I said, the cinematography was perfect. The action sequences had me on the edge of my seat. It's a very tense movie, right? It's very tightly paced, and because of that, it is one of the most tense films I've ever watched. No joke, on the edge of my seat the whole time. I haven't felt like that on the edge since I seen Tenet. Like, Tenet kind of had me like, you know, holding my breath kind of thing, but this movie in particular especially, I was holding my breath for so long during certain segments. Like, you guys could already see some of the things with, say, the funeral scene. Let me let you guys know ahead of time, it gets even better, right? If you thought that scene on YouTube, the ads and stuff they had, it gets even crazier, and I was literally gasping for air by the end of it. I couldn't believe it, man. Some of the stuff they pull off is phenomenal. The car chase scene, like, even the trailers just didn't do enough justice, which is good, kind of, right, for the film, because, like, oh my gosh, the car chase scene, that was wild. The acting and everything was perfect. The soundtrack, oh man, 10 out of 10 stuff. Oh, that thing, that was my other favorite part. Like, the OST of this film is just so darn good. Like, you can't help but like fall in love with it. Huge shout outs to Catwoman's theme, right? Catwoman's theme, just perfection. Batman's theme, the dun dun dun, everything, the build up, the score, even when it's a little bit slower paced, when he's reflective and whatnot, just great, and they do a lot of great things in terms of letting these scenes play out for themselves, kind of similar to another superhero film we had recently where there's just not a lot of talking, a lot more reflection, and this film had a lot of quiet time. Like there's a lot of moments where they just let the music rock, where they just let the sound effects play, where characters aren't really speaking, and that was very impactful. It makes you, the audience member, kind of reflect and be like, oh, so this is what's going on. And then in terms of what the movie's showcasing, does a great job of really nailing in the points that the script is trying to make. Very, very great stuff. The tight script was perfect. Like I just really enjoyed this world of Gotham, and I can't wait to see more. As for the commentary on the villains and the heroes, which is always a huge selling point of the Batman, I gotta say what they're doing with Bruce's character was perfection. I'm so happy that someone finally got like Batman, if that makes sense, in terms of how I've been looking at him for a lot of years, and as a fan of his work, I feel very like vindicated in a way, because it's like, dang, someone out there finally kind of understands the true fundamental issues and positives, of course, with some of the Batman's character and his archetypes, and they really delve into that in this film. They really go into it, so hopefully in the next couple movies they leave a little bit of the vengeance stuff behind and focus on more of a well-rounded Batman, which we don't really get to see that often in cinema, and that's one of the main reasons I'm really excited to see what they do next. Everyone played their roles great, everyone played their roles perfectly, and this world and universe they're building is going to be one I cannot wait to follow, especially if they keep up already what they're doing. So huge shout outs to the Batman. I just wanted to do a quick talk about it. There's not going to be any clips because copyright is absolutely the worst thing on YouTube. If I so much as show WB's logo, my channel might get striked. I've tried doing video movie reviews in the past, like with Premiere. It never went well. I had to delete all the anime clips. It was rough. But anyways, just wanted to talk about it. It's really awesome, and I'll update you guys again with the more in-depth analysis later in the future when I have the time to do a full like video review when it's on HBO Max, if that's okay. Yeah, please go see the Batman. If you guys are in an area, maybe when it's dying down, the hype's dying down, you could go find a semi-empty theater or semi kind of not as big theater. Please go see it. You will not be disappointed. It's one of the best crime noir films I've seen in a while. It's one of the most thought-provoking films, funnily enough, that I've seen, and it does a lot to address and talk about the core fundamental world building that Batman has brought up and kind of deconstruct in a couple of ways, and I think that was really awesome to see. So yeah, go check it out. I'll see you guys later. We'll talk about Elden Ring next, and I hope you guys have a great day. Peace.